Go ahead.
All right. Hello and welcome on board with Marcela. This is Marcela and I am your host today for Yachting International Radio. We are here at the show today in Metz and we are at the Super Yacht Forum organized by the Super Yacht Group. And I am here today with one of my favorite lawyers, Anthony Galea from Vistra Marine and Aviation based in Malta. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. My pleasure to be over here on the show.
Yes, thank you for being here. So I was just talking to you about, tell me about Malta and what are the advantages of being registered in Malta?
Malta. Oh, well, at the moment there's lots of advantages that I can think of. Of course, as you've seen, there's been a big rise in the yachting and the opportunities in Malta. I think it's hard work. It's also because there are a number of advantages, as you mentioned. You know, the registry are good people. They have a very good service. It's very cost efficient as well. So that's number one point in my view always, you know, making sure that things that should be happening are actually happening and happening correctly. At the moment we're very strong on the commercial yachts. So of course nowadays with all these new regulations and obligations for owners, having a registry that supports you and knows how the practice is done is very important. Of course we're also a European flag, which is very important, and with Brexit looming, of course, we're going to have now our UK friends out of the scene as well from a European point of view, which is a worry. But obviously, that enhances the opportunities for Malta. And other than that, of course, there is also the corporate side of things. You know, making sure that companies are used to buy the yachts, that clients have liabilities well in check at the same time, but also that the operations and the accounting and the administration of the companies is done in a flexible way, is done in a correct way, you know, it's done in a transparent way. So we make sure in Malta that accounts are kept, you know, they're filed, which in the past was actually considered an obligation. But nowadays, with all that has been happening, I see it as the right way to do it, first of all, but also as an opportunity to expose to everyone that, listen, things are being done in a correct way. And I think Malta has been good for two reasons at the end of the day. That it offers clients and people involved in yachting clarity on what is happening, and certainty, because, you know, there are very clear ways how to do things without any going around.
So if I own a yacht and it's for charter, what would be the reasons that I would need to open, for example, a company in Malta? Or can you talk to me about what the process would you recommend and why Malta and not somewhere else like the BVI?
Well, again, I wouldn't go for Malta always as a first. It depends, first of all, on the client, on what he wants to do and where he wants to go. So Malta is a good option for clients who want to be based in Europe. But if you have a client who wants to do a round the world trip, maybe Malta would not be the best option. I would go for a Cayman Island flag or a Marshall Island flag, especially if someone wants to cruise the US because of US permits. But having said that, I like particularly the Maltese companies structure for clients because we follow the English tradition. So we are, you know, following rules that are tried and tested for many years, not known to most of the industry, and therefore people can relate to them. You know, filing of accounts, doing audits, but also doing annual returns and knowing where you stand in these filing obligations, as I said before. So that's a very important part. When you're doing chartering, it becomes also very important because you need to be able to prove that you are really doing charter, because one of the obligations nowadays when you're doing charter is being able to prove that you're doing it, and not only that you're doing it, but doing it correctly. So that you are paying your VAT where it counts and you have the certification to prove it. So, for example, nowadays, people might have heard of the Paris MOU. It's that international convention which allows the international community to make sure that boats are up to standard. If you don't have the certificates in line with that, you're going to be stopped. In the same way, if you're not paying your VAT correctly, you're going to be stopped. And clients want to enjoy their boats at the end of the day. So having a management setup which doesn't provide for these is nowadays preposterous, you know, and leads to client losing opportunities for the owners and clients losing their holidays. So I think Malta offers these right setups to the international community, and that's why it has been successful. But Malta is not the right solution for everyone. It depends on the client, and careful planning is required at the beginning, that's for sure.
So depends where you live, where your residents are, where do you use the boat, where if the Caribbean or the Monaco, if you want it private, if you want a charter. So basically you put on a puzzle and then based on your profile, then you decide where would you want to flag your boat or opening an offshore account or a, how do you call that?
Onshore account.
An offshore account that would be the owner of the vessel. So I know that Malta is also doing a lot of things to attract new investors and to attract more investment into the country. And then there's a lot of people that, for example, would like to invest in the country and they have access to have a Maltese passport, right? So what would be how much money would I need to invest in Malta to get a Maltese passport?
Yeah, at the moment, Malta has introduced this idea, this opportunity for passport holders. It's usually attractive for non-EU persons who are, for example, based in Southeast Asia, who have their kids wanting, for example, to study in Europe or the US, and allows them easy access to the visas.
Yeah.
Those are the type of clients we've been handling of recently, even clients from the Middle East again. And once they're over there, their parents might want to enjoy a bit of yachting in the holiday season or be close to their family. So taking up a residence in Malta is one such opportunity. Buying a boat, and keeping it over there is linked to that very often.
Yeah.
So we've seen a few